Welcome to The Warehouse. Have you ever heard a sermon and thought, how in the world did he discover that? Or where did he get that idea? Every week at Cornerstone Church, two teams dig into the biblical text that'll be taught during our weekend services. We spend hours talking about the text, the context, the culture of the time, you name it. But you can't stuff all that into a 30-minute message. That's where we come in. We're going to show you the stuff in the warehouse that didn't make it to the stage. Hey, Stephanie.
Hey, Jay.
What is your favorite scent?
I'm doing a fall scent. You guys can do whatever scent you would like to do.
Tree beard.
It's fine. If
Fall
nice.
scent.
No,
yes.
fall scent.
Yes.
Your favorite autumnal smell.
I really like that.
I don't know what it means.
I don't know why you're like trying to subdivide and you're
Because
like
there's
saying
a-
like,
Like,
hey,
does it shift?
Yes. In different seasons, at different times, I like different smells to be happening within like my space.
so you're just
So-
saying you want to talk about your favorite. You don't want to talk about your favorite smell, period.
Right.
You have 4 favorite smells, one for each season.
I would agree with that.
Ooh, what are your 4 favorite smells?
No, we're not
then?
doing all of that. I'm talking about fall because that's the season we are going into because we're not fall yet. Anywho,
This is
listen,
confusing.
just go with it.
Let's all get out.
What is your favorite fall scent?
Thank you. What?
Nothing. Go for it.
Okay. Oh man. Now
Did
I'm
you
like,
lose it? Oh no!
like-
After all that wind up,
no, it's like
Fall
it's
back
like
to summer. Fall back
no,
to summer.
no. It's like coffee, pumpkin, and vanilla.
so just
That's
pumpkin
3.
spice latte.
Yeah, sounds great.
Yeah.
That's it.
Those are
I feel like she's like, hey, I can't just pick one. I have to pick 4. But within those 4, there's also 3. There are now
Yeah.
12,
She's got 12 favorite smells.
Yes.
12 favorite
Yes.
smells.
I would not disagree with that.
Nathan, what's your favorite 3 smells?
I don't even have to go that far. Absolute favorite, honeysuckle.
Ooh.
And not like fake honeysuckle, but like you're walking by by our pond. There's just
yeah.
a bunch of like actual naturally occurring honeysuckle.
Yeah.
That's a good
And it's
smell.
only for like a
Smells
10 foot.
so good.
There's only like, I smell it and it's fantastic and then it's gone.
Invariably, if you were walking with me and there's honeysuckle, I'm gonna stop and
Yep.
say, I love the smell of honeysuckle.
Yep. We're the same. We've got a couple places where it is.
Yeah.
So I enjoy having breakfast in bed. I like waking up to the smell of bacon.
Stop!
And since I don't have a butler, I have to do it myself. So most nights before I go to
Yep.
bed, I'll lay 6 strips of bacon out on my
That's
George
a great
Foreman
idea.
grill.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then I go to sleep.
Yeah.
When
why
I
not?
wake up, I plug in the grill.
Yep.
I go back to sleep. Then I wake up to the smell of crackling bacon. It's delicious. It's good for me. It's a perfect way to start the day.
Yeah, it is. Until
love
you
that.
burn your foot and have to wrap it in bubble wrap.
And have somebody put
So,
aspirin in your pudding cup.
would one of you rub butter on my foot if I
I
burned it on a George Foreman grill?
That's a great question.
You
I feel
know-
like it's the Christ-like thing to do. It's the 3rd degree burn equivalent of washing the disciples' feet.
Yes. So that's a yes from
That's a
I would
yes.
probably do it.
I
And
wouldn't
you-
like it though.
and Parker.
Parker
you-
says
Parker probably would not
No,
butter
he
my
would
feet.
not put butter on your feet.
he says maybe.
How about you burn your foot and we'll see who would be one to
Yep.
rub butter on it.
Put.
Would your daughters?
I see one of them doing it
At
for
least
you.
one.
At least one.
Yeah. I've got
favorite
a
one?
pretty good chance. I've got a pretty good chance of going 3 for 3.
Okay.
I'm in a pretty good spot with all 3 kids. Right
That's
now.
awesome.
Trying not to
That's
blow
awesome.
it by burning my foot and making them buttered up.
Yeah. It's like you could cash in on it, but then
Then I'm done.
the relationship's done. Yeah.
Then I'm 73 and I've never seen my grandkids.
You're like, is it worth it? I don't know.
If I just wouldn't have had them butter my foot, everything would have been different.
This is weird.
And then I would need some restoration.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh,
Look at you.
that's
speaking-
conveniently very much like what we're going to talk about, Jay.
Man, oh man. We're in week 6 of our
First
Come and
try.
See. Yeah, this is the first time I've said this as well. Of our Come and See series, Jesus Restoring. One of my absolute favorite stories, if I'm being honest. One of my favorite gospel stories.
That's
We're in
awesome. I didn't know
John.
that.
Yeah, this is the one. John 21. Verses 15 to 22 is where we'll be landing. Nathan, what was your big idea this week?
Oh, I actually didn't give one because mine was very much like Morgan's. I was having a hard time like making it like, distinct or memorable because to me, it's just like, I just see Jesus' leadership and that he restores a disciple who denied him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like the very simple principle.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mine was, when we are at our lowest, he desires to restore us.
It almost rhymes.
It did.
Almost.
It's very sing-songy.
Yeah.
I'd sing.
Is that a good thing? Very sing-songy? I've only heard that in negative connotations.
It depends on whether you want it to be sing-songy or not.
But that was
That's
very
kind of the-
sing-songy. That
Okay.
was positive.
Okay.
I said rebellion, repentance, restoration. No one's too far gone.
Ooh, it's like the first time I ever heard that.
Yeah, it was really good yesterday when I didn't
like
have it written yet.
I feel like it's the tagline for a John Wick movie or something.
Oh, success. Hey, what kind of context do we need to bring forward into John 21?
Bring it, Stephanie. You got some good stuff.
Okay, so I don't have the context for John itself.
Whoa.
This, because it's
Okay,
in my other
I'm sorry,
notes.
guys.
You've
I thought
already
she-
heard it.
Yeah, we've been here for a while.
Yeah, we've been here. You can go
Okay,
back and listen
okay,
to John
okay,
again.
okay.
So this time I kind of focused more on like Peter, how he is a natural leader of the group. He's normally the one to first to react. He's had a rough go the past few weeks. So, I mean, for real, he denied
True.
Jesus, and then this is where he's at. They're back in Galilee going fishing. They need to make money. This is what they tend to do. So they just had finished a night of fishing and caught nothing. They're tired. They're hungry. And so one of the beautiful parts to me that I love in the immediate context is here before this reading is Jesus is tending a coal fire. And we see him in John 18. This is where Peter denied Jesus was in front of a coal fire. And so I love that imagery because John is putting this little piece in for us that is like repainting the whole picture that Peter is denying him. And Jesus is like, hey, I'm going to restore you in front of this coal fire. So I just really love that part.
Yeah, the only other place in the New Testament where that word for coal fire is in the story of Peter denying Jesus.
Yeah, in John 18. So that was like my immediate context that I had for this week.
Dig it.
So John 20 is the resurrection. Jesus appears to Mary Magdalene. Jesus appears to the disciples. Jesus and Thomas, again, like top 5 moment. I think John's gospel might just front to back might be my favorite.
Your favorite gospel?
And then John writes, interesting to me, John writes the purpose of the book before John 21. John 20, 30 and 31. Now Jesus did many other signs in the presence of the disciples, which are not written in this book. But these are written so that you may believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God, and that by believing you may have life in his name.
Oh, yeah.
And then chapter 21 kicks in.
I do also think it's important to point out, like, this is the later of the Gospels. We have mentioned that before on the podcast that this was the last one to be written, but especially with this part in here about talking about Peter and that. So just we can talk about that more, but it's just really neat.
So Peter goes fishing. 7 disciples go with him, and John names 5 of them. I thought that was interesting. So Peter goes, Thomas the twin, Nathanael of Cana in Galilee, the sons of Zebedee, so that's James and John, 2 other of his disciples.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I was like,
2?
yeah, which 2? I think Andrew might have been there, right? Because Andrew fished with
Maybe.
Peter.
Yeah.
Oh, and the other part, context-wise, is when Jesus called Peter to himself. Well, it was whenever Peter was fishing.
All night without any fish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're talking about, there's like some legit deja vu moments here for Peter.
Yeah.
Like I've been here before, like taking him back to his calling whenever Jesus says, hey, you're going to be fishers of men. No longer fishers of fish.
Yeah. Luke 5 is where the bigger story of them getting called is.
Nice.
And then you also pointed out yesterday about how we could even possibly say, like, the timing of the morning of Peter denying him and Jesus restoring him is about the same time frame as well, too, in the early morning.
Yeah, I was just asking yesterday, and we seem to think like, yeah, it seems likely. I mean, because since Peter's third denial of Jesus wraps up with a rooster crowing, which typically would happen first thing in the morning, it's like, I wonder, is it like break of dawn kind of moment? You said yours usually.
Yeah, our rooster normally crows around 4 a.m. He's
Once.
super loud. His name is Poppy. So people know Poppy on here by now, I feel like.
Really?
We've talked about my chickens a lot.
Okay.
I don't think you've named Poppy, have you?
I
don't know
him by name.
Papi or Poppy?
That way.
Like he's a popcorn
Poppy.
popper. Poppy.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was supposed to be a
Poppy
girl.
He's not a dad.
Whoa.
So they're about 100 yards from the shore, is what the English translators gave to us. When the same thing happens, they fish all night, nothing, and this guy on the shore yells up, tell him to throw it over on the right side of the boat. They, again, miraculous catch, nets full and probably starting to break. And that's when John yells, "It's the Lord."
Mm-hmm.
Which that's the same thing that happened with their initial calling, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the same miracle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Same miracle. So John says, "It's the Lord," and Peter puts on his outer garment
Mhm.
and then jumps in and swims to shore.
Yeah.
Which is just reading it this go around has been like heavy kind of on me. It's been like pretty and like beautiful, but also heavy.
So we come up to this moment where everything is reminding Peter of when Jesus called him,
Mhm.
right? That first moment of realizing this guy's the Messiah. I guess maybe not realizing, but realizing there's something about this guy. Andrew saw him before. One of the other gospels says Andrew was with John when he was baptizing and saw Jesus. And so Andrew knew what was going on, and he had told Peter. And so John says, "It's the Lord." He jumps in. I think, oh my gosh, I remember Jesus is here. I remember when he called me. Here he is again. I'm in. And it had, because there is, those of you who know the difference between a charcoal fire smell and a wood fire smell know that there is that distinct difference. And so, like, at what point does Peter start smelling the charcoal? That same charcoal that he would have probably smelled the night that he denied Jesus. So in my head, the hope, the joy, the excitement of that first call, and now I'm in the water. Now I'm smelling the charcoal. I wonder what's in his head right now, right? And then Jesus says, "Come and have breakfast."
As you're saying that, I'm just thinking about, I think it's kind of funny, like your sense of smell, your olfactory nerve is the one that's most connected to memory.
Yeah.
So like the thing that can take you back to a moment faster than anything else. It's like I smell something and it like reminds me of my grandma's house or whatever.
yeah.
And I'm just like right there. So that is kind of a funny thought.
Yeah. Yeah, he had to be taken back there, right?
Oh yeah. And then I think it's just, I don't think we can overstate the importance of recognizing how crummy Peter had to feel after like promising Jesus that even if everyone else deserted him, that he was going to stick with them.
Yeah.
And then, Jesus saying, "Nope, before the rooster crows, like you're going to deny me 3 times. And then he does it like by the end of it, just like actually swearing, saying, "I do not even know the guy." Like what a complete denial of Jesus. And then to see Jesus killed on a cross in front of you, like that had to be a terrible feeling. Cause it's like, you don't even get the reconciliation of like, "Jesus, you're right. I'm sorry." It's just like, now you see your leader, your friend dying on a cross. And it's like, there's no even closure to that failure.
Rochelle, one of our residents in the communicator meeting today, was talking how she drew the line back to Jesus saying, "If you deny me in front of men, I'll deny you in front of my Father."
Yeah.
And then talking through, what happens now, what happens next, and making that an even bigger thing emotionally in my head.
Yeah.
Well, all right then.
Huge.
How's about we just break it up the way you broke it up yesterday. So John 21, 15 to 17 is how we'll start it off. When they had finished breakfast, and again, the breakfast that Jesus cooked for them on the beach after he made the charcoal fire. When they had finished breakfast, Jesus said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" He said to him, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." He said to him, "Feed my lambs." He said to him a second time, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" He said to him, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." He said to him, "Tend my sheep." He said to him the third time, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter was grieved because he said to him the third time, "Do you love me?" And he said to him, "Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you." Jesus said to him, "Feed my sheep." What you got?
One of the questions we'd had was like, hey, is this the first time Peter's encountered the risen Jesus? And as we look back, it says, like, I think right before this, that this is actually the third time that the disciples have encountered Jesus. So it's not his first time, but it like seems to be the first maybe like really personal or one-on-one or intimate interaction that he's had with Jesus since since his death and resurrection.
Yeah. So if he was in the room, there's a good chance he probably didn't want to jump into the front row.
Right. Yeah. So again, we should see this is, there's 3 repetitions. So 3 times he addresses him exactly the same. Simon, son of John, Simon, son of John, Simon, son of John. He does vary up the question a little bit. So do you love me more than these? And then do you love me? Do you love me? And then Peter's response varies just a little bit. Yes, Lord, you know that I love you. Yes, Lord, you know that I love you. And then the last time, Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you. And then it's Jesus' response to him, feed my lambs, tend my sheep, feed my sheep. So when we're seeing repetition, stuff like that, like we're often going to ask the question like, hey, is there intentional variation in these? Like, is it saying something different, slightly nuanced? Does it change, does it change the tense or the word or the meaning each time? Or is it like, is the repetition to show what's different each time, or the repetition to show what's the same each time? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So those of us who have grown up in the church, we've heard sermons on this our entire lives, and a good number of us have heard that the words for love that Jesus uses and that Peter uses in this bit of scripture, these verses in particular, they're different. They're the agape, phileo, and there have been entire sermons built on the differences between these two words. So going through just what I remember from sermons, and then I preached from sermons, that so Jesus says, "Do you agape me?" And for years we heard agape, that highest form of love. And Peter says, "Yes, I love you like a brother," that like Philadelphia, phileo. Jesus says the second time, "Do you agape me?" He says, "I phileo you." And then Jesus says the third time, "Do you phileo?" And he says, "Yes, you know I do." So there have been hundreds and thousands of sermons preached across the world about this thing right here. And yet, as we looked into the usage of the two words throughout the Gospels, we found something that might differ from the way we've preached this before.
Yeah, so kind of digging into this, like, because that was a question that I had as well, is like, is there a difference? Is there a significance between him responding with brotherly love instead of the ultimate love? And from like studying, it says that like these two words are often interchangeable. Like it doesn't really make a difference on how he's saying it. And I think, wasn't it John was kind of known to interchange these words quite often, and he wasn't putting the significance behind it. He's just, there's no attachment of like significance behind the words that he's using here for the difference. So that may shock some people.
Yeah. If there is, it's definitely not as clear as it's been preached to be.
Yeah. It seems like at this point in time, so this point in history, the way the Greek language was used, and looking at the way the biblical authors used this word, used phileo and agape specifically, it doesn't seem to be that we can say that always whenever they use agape, that it means unconditional God kind of love. And phileo means a lower kind of just brotherly love. It seems to be that they use them more synonymously. And if there is significant, like you might be able to say that later on in Greek language that they developed more nuanced meanings, but it doesn't seem to be from biblical usage that there's a consistent.
Yeah. Because as we went
difference.
back and looked at the usage, some of it, even Jesus using the same wording and using the two different words for love.
Yeah.
So talking about the Father, loving the Father. One place he'll say agape, one place it's phileo.
Yep.
So that was mind-boggling. So it's okay to pause if you need to and just kind of think about that and
Let a little
reflect.
Yeah.
Tear eke out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as soon as the tear gets wiped, hit play again. We'll be waiting for you. Hey guys, welcome back.
So one of the things that stood out to me as well is like how he is Simon, son of John here. And normally we know him as Peter. And then we see him picked back up as Peter in verse 20. So one of the commentators I read said that this perhaps was a subtle reminder that he had not stood on a rock in faithfulness to Jesus, where his ground was kind of shaky at this time. And so kind of like reaching back into that, like who he was, and then back to verse 20 is who he is.
So John called him right there at 15. Jesus said to Simon Peter, Simon's son. Jesus called him in 16, Simon, son of John. Verse 17, Simon, son of John. And then...
Oh, Peter was grieved here in verse 17 too.
Yeah. And so still in none of these does Jesus call him Peter.
Yeah.
Anytime he's addressed in a narrative, like by John, whenever John's talking about him, he calls him Peter. Anytime Jesus is addressing him, he calls him Simon, son of John.
That's a good catch. So Jesus always calls him Simon in John's narrative, but
I'm not saying all the time, but in this passage.
in this
for sure.
passage. Oh, okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
Feed my lambs, tend my sheep, feed my sheep. You leaned more toward it being repetitive and not being a major difference between the feed, the tend, the lamb, and the sheep.
I think so. I think so. That is the way I lean, but I would not like argue with someone about it.
Yeah.
It just like, it feels a little, if you look at like what the audience would have heard, I like, so John is teaching a mixed Gentile and Jewish audience after Peter has already died.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler.
We'll get to that.
Talking with them, like teaching from a theological perspective. So I think we'd have to say like the main thing that he's trying to do is tie the three denials of Peter that he talked about previously to three reinstatements and votes of confidence from Jesus.
Yeah.
So we have to say that's the main thing. Let's make sure and keep that front and center. Now, whether there's nuances to it, it's like, I don't really think necessarily. I think John wrote very circularly and just kind of circle back to the same things over and over again anyway.
And he was a fisherman, not a shepherd. So he might not have known. Yeah, that's good. And remembering too that it is, so this whole story is one just with hyperlinks back across all of Peter's story, back to his call, back to his denial. It's really interesting, and it kind of reminds us of the big picture that the Bible is one story that leads to Jesus. One story of God creating Eden, us rebelling against His plan, and then His work throughout the generations to build Eden. And so that's kind of where we are. If we read this as just a story on its own, we miss the flavor of going back and reading the whole thing as one story and seeing the beautiful hyperlinks there. Anything else from this section?
I had a few more things. So like the more than these. So in how to study the Bible, we talk about like just reading through it. And whenever you read through it, like read through it again and then put question marks or circle the words. And so with here, it's like more than these. I was like, more than what? And so I put question marks right there. And it's like more than the fish? Like, of course he's got to love him more than the fish.
More than the breakfast. This is a good breakfast, Jesus. But
Yeah.
yes, I love you more
I
than this
do,
breakfast.
in
Right.
fact.
Yeah.
And so,
I agapao you more than compared to these fish.
yes. So Matthew 26:33, Peter answered him, though they all fall away because of you, I will never fall away. So it's pointing back to like the disciples and him saying like that portion. It's not more than fish.
Right.
So
in case you were wondering.
in case you were wondering, and then also it's talking about, I think Parker brought it up, like this is not metaphoric, or it is metaphoric. It's not literal. So like Jesus isn't saying like, hey, I have some sheep you need to go tend and take care of. Like this is saying like,
Back in Nazareth.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it? Yeah. He's like, on the cross, he's like, hey, take care of my mom. And then here he's like, also, the sheep. I forgot about the
Yeah.
sheep.
I don't trust John with the sheep.
Yeah.
He can handle mom. I don't trust him with the sheep.
right. So this is like a pastoral call
Yeah.
for him.
It's the. Did you have that thought, or were you worried somebody else might have that thought?
You never know. You never know.
If you thought he was being literal there, email us at warehouse@cornerstone.team.
That would
'cause
be-
I need to talk to you.
She's funny. And then a pastor I was listening to said this so well, and I just wanted to share it. And it says, Christ is removing shame from Peter. He is letting him pledge his love for Jesus 3 times as he denied him 3 times. Christ is restoring what Peter gave away. He's taking his shame. So shame is someone seeing you at your worst and they leave the room and you wonder if they'll ever come back. And so Jesus is coming back to him to restore all of that shame and guilt that Peter is feeling. And like, man, how much he loves. And I'm just, it blows me away.
Yeah, and we tend to think that Jesus will come back to us in spite of our worst, in spite of that biggest mistake we have, and yet this story helps remind us that Jesus comes to the place of our biggest failure to redeem us and restore us.
Well, and also the impact that it would have had on the other disciples to see Jesus restoring Peter, the one who was the leader of the group, the one who tend to like take the first steps and stuff. So, and we do see in Acts, Peter makes big moves for Jesus. And also the disciples needed to be healed of that too, to know that Jesus is restoring him.
Yeah.
And also, it won't be the first time that Peter or the last time that Peter
No.
messes up and has to be confronted and
Right.
and restored, because Paul will do it later in
Yeah.
Acts.
Yeah.
Did we mention Matthew 26 from
I did.
You did.
26:33.
about though they all fall away?
Mhm.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that was
then
good.
the word grieve there, like just deeply hurt. So like the pain that he was feeling whenever he asked him. And I don't think it was like a pain of like, how dare you ask me this? It's like, oh man, like he's recutting open a wound that he's already been feeling. And so just Jesus is wanting to heal him of that.
Man, I think it was all the above.
Yeah.
Hurt that he was being asked, hurt that he had to ask. I think that's that thing, you mess up and your mom doesn't trust you anymore. And she's like, no, can I trust you with this? And you're like, ugh, what did I do? Yeah, he was vexed.
Yeah. And then I think, so you have like, it wasn't just Jesus saying, hey, it's fine. And then it wasn't just Jesus saying,
Yeah.
I know that you love me, but like allowing Peter to say with the same lips that said, I don't even know the man, allowing him to say, I do love you.
Yeah.
I do love you. I do love you.
Yeah.
Like
you
what,
know it. You know everything. And so this is true.
yeah.
This isn't just me flapping my gums.
Yeah. And so then like what's happening right there, I mean, Peter's saying it out loud, also Jesus not denying it and saying like, no, you don't. You just denied me
Right.
back there, but him like confirming it by saying, I trust you with the sheep.
Yeah.
It's just a big deal. Like
Huge.
I just wonder, like, Peter's been promised this. He's been promised that he's going to be part of the rock on which the church is going to be built.
Yeah.
And you have to wonder, like, after you've blown it so big, like, man, did I just ruin all my shots at like actually being who Jesus thought I was whenever he said,
Yeah,
on this rock?
I'm happy being part of the crew that builds the church.
Yeah.
I know I've blown it. I'm not going to be the rock anymore.
Yeah. And so then for it to come back and Jesus say, I still trust you, feed my lambs, tend my sheep, feed my sheep. Yeah. It's not just, are we okay relationally, but I still trust you with the church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else from that section?
No. It's for me.
All right. 18 and 19. Truly, truly, I say to you, when you were young, you used to dress yourself and walk wherever you wanted. But when you are old, you will stretch out your hands, and another will dress you and carry you where you do not want to go. This he said to show by what kind of death he was to glorify God. And after saying this, he said to him, follow me.
That was the part that was really hard for me yesterday. So one, John already knows how Peter died. And so him adding this part in verse 19 where it says, this he said to show by what kind of death he was to glorify God. And so if you don't know how Peter died, he was crucified as like the biblical
Church tradition.
Church tradition. There it is. Says that he was crucified upside down because he didn't feel like he was worthy enough to be crucified in the same way Jesus was. And so this whole part to me is just like, like, man, that's heavy. And did Peter couldn't have known, like he knows that he's going to go somewhere where he doesn't want to go, but like to know, and he did it with glory. Like he did it. Sorry.
Yeah. And there's been other pieces of foreshadowing of this too. Like whenever Jesus, like, was it Peter? Who was it that was saying like, Jesus, we want to sit on your right hand? That was James and John, right? And he's like, can you drink the cup that I'm going to drink and be baptized with the baptism with which I'm going to be baptized? And they're like, yeah, we can.
Yeah.
And he's like, you are.
You are, yeah.
And so like,
ooh, interesting. James, the first to be martyred in the book of Acts, and John, the last to die of an old age.
That's interesting. Yeah. So then, Jesus has told the disciples that they're going to suffer, and they do. Aside from John, they all end up being martyred, and John still ends up dying like isolated on the island of Patmos, right? Or does he?
No, he
does he make it back?
Yeah.
He makes it back. Okay, so he's
and then goes back to Ephesus, I believe, is what tradition says.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, so interesting that, and you wonder, I would think we talked yesterday, Acts 6, where the Sanhedrin brings them and beats them, tells them, don't talk about Jesus anymore. And Peter and John were there and said, you do what you have to. Well, we can't stop talking about it. And they left rejoicing that they were counted worthy to suffer for the name.
Yeah.
And you wonder too, thinking, all right, Nero is the emperor and you're going to die, you're going to be crucified, and to have the wherewithal to be able to say, yeah, all right, but I'm not worthy of your regular crucifixion because that's the way Jesus died, and I'm not worthy of that. So crucify me upside down.
Yeah. Yeah. And then like in that moment, so, I mean, first time Peter is confronted with this, like, hey, are you going to stay with Jesus or recant? He's like, denies him 3 times.
Neither, because I don't even know him.
Yeah. And then never again. Like even confronted with, death on a cross upside down. He's like, I'm not going there.
Yeah.
Which is like,
not only do I worship this guy, but I don't want to die the same way he died.
Yeah.
So do it different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just in this, like, Jesus is telling him the road ahead is going to be hard and you need to follow me through it. And I think you said it yesterday, Nathan, somebody did, but I thought it was so good. But Peter says before this, like, I will lay down my life for you. And he ends up doing it.
Yeah.
And just good.
Yeah.
It's just good. So
anything else from those 2 verses?
No.
So again, some like ties back. After saying this, Jesus said to him, follow me. So that's what he said at the beginning, right? You guys may have already said that, and I missed it, but I just like the circling back. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
You're in this.
Yeah. A lot's happened since then,
Yep.
but your call is still the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to make you fishers of men.
I think about like that Peter being, so I'm just thinking about like the power of like negative reinforcement versus positive reinforcement and like the role of appropriate grief and shame in our lives.
Mm.
It's like Peter feels grieved because of his sin and denying Jesus, but it's a kind of grief that leads to like repentance and reinstatement.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Jesus doesn't, like whenever Peter chooses like that he's never going to deny Jesus again, it doesn't come from a place like Jesus scolded me so bad.
Right. That's
like-
so
Yeah.
good. That is so good to point out, though. Sorry.
Yeah,
Keep
no,
going.
that-
Yeah,
that's great.
So
He's going
good.
to bring the hammer down if
Right.
I mess up again.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not Jesus is just waiting. He said, okay, this one time, but if you ever do that again, you're
Yeah.
out. It was like the grace and mercy of Jesus to reinstate him that like makes him say, yeah, never again.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that it's just so good to point that out because some people can have that fear that, man, I'm going to mess up so bad and he is going to discipline me and he is going to make my life miserable. And that's not what happens. Like he still is there with open arms. And I'm like, hey, I love you.
Mm-hmm. And I just think, I mean, again, we're in a series. This is edging into application, but we're in a series talking about the leadership of Jesus and things that we learn. Like as a leader, like resist the urge to just rub somebody's nose in their mistakes.
Yeah.
Like there is an appropriate kind of grief. You don't want to just let someone off the hook for their like for bad behavior or whatever. They should feel it. And like, you don't want to short circuit the process of grief and what it can do in somebody's life, but also you don't want to rub somebody's nose in it and make them feel like if you ever do this again, like let kindness lead to repentance.
Mm-hmm.
1819, anything else?
That's it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all right. Finish it up with 20 through 22. Peter turned and saw the disciple whom Jesus loved following them, the one who also had leaned back against him during the supper and had said, Lord, who is it that's going to betray you? When Peter saw him, he said to Jesus, Lord, what about this man? Jesus said to him, if it is my will that he remain until I come, what is that to you? You follow me.
I think it's funny that you kind of see immediately them slip back into a little bit of an old pattern of like, and I feel like we have this conversation like every day with our kids right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's like last night, it's like, hey, kid 2, come on inside and get ready for bed. And she's like, but kid 1 got to do another lap on his bike around the house. And we're like, but we told you, kid 2, that it's time to come inside.
Yeah.
Stop comparing yourself to your brother.
Yeah. It is interesting. Even the guys who came up with the titles for each section, the section headings. So the section heading for verse 15 before verse 15 is Jesus and Peter. And the section heading in the ESV anyway, before verse 20 is Jesus and the beloved apostle. So he jumped right onto John's wagon of saying, he's not going to say John here. He's going to say the disciple whom Jesus loved. I gotta believe that their relationship was one in which that James is asking, hey, who's getting the groceries today? And John says, I think Peter and the disciple Jesus loved is going to do it. And just
A little goading.
yeah, got to be there. And Peter turned and saw. He turned and saw John. So here it's another hyperlink. Peter took his eyes off Jesus again, right after his restoration. He took his eyes off Jesus and worried about somebody else.
I wonder if that's like a misery loves company moment. Just like,
Yeah, how's he going to die?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go and do it joyfully. But hold on, John.
What about that guy?
So back to like the whole question things of me putting, so it says, Lord, what about this man? And I was like, what about him? Like, why do you care? Why are you so worried about him right now in this moment when you are with Jesus? But at the same time, I can say that reading the story, but I can also relate and get it because I can fall into like comparison and like, well, crap, am I going to have the only horrible death here? Is this guy going to do too? Like, I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not fair.
Nathan came in today just beaming from his one-on-one with Morgan, his first one-on-one, and he used to beam like that after mine.
Come on. Yeah.
So now everything's going to be, what about Morgan?
Yeah.
How's he going to die?
No. No.
You don't know? You don't know how?
I don't know.
Oh. Well, all right.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So at this time of him writing this, Peter is already gone.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
when he's writing it. Yeah.
I'm sorry. He was writing. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm with you now.
Not
Yeah.
at the time of the event. Peter was obviously not dead.
He was gone.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I was thinking. Oh, were you going to say something
Nope.
else there?
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, we do see this really immature behavior and stuff. And it's, I think it's also significant to remember that, like, day of Pentecost is still where everything, like, really changes for them, you know, whenever they are indwelled by the Holy Spirit. And that's where you see them step out in, like, incredible boldness and preaching the gospel. And, like, that's, like, the Holy Spirit power within them is, like, really what seems to transform them.
Boy, that's good. Kind of goes back to last week when we talked about how Jesus was full of the Spirit, led by the Spirit, powered by the Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how we have to be the same, or we're going to be. Well, Stephanie just got a shout out from the stage. And
Yeah. That came pretty quickly. Hey, buddy. Top of mind?
I don't know what you're talking about. There's nothing at the top of my mind.
I believe that.
So back to the verse 22. That's where I'm at. What?
Yep.
If it is my will that he remain until I come, what is it that to you follow me? So here he's saying, like, Peter, I have a job for you and I have a job for him. You're going to be a pastor. He's going to be a faithful witness. You will lead a church. He will be my faithful testimony of who I am. So, like, currently we are reading John's book. And so, like, their roads are not going to be equal, and he has to be okay with that, and just how easy it is to fall into that comparison trap. But it's all about serving Jesus. And we need to embrace how God made us, and he's made us all differently.
Yep.
John pastored the church at Ephesus for a while, right?
So
Did
it's
he?
not that John was not a pastor.
Right.
They still have different. Yeah.
Gifting.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe not.
They definitely have different journeys and different lengths of roads and, like, different paths that they're going to be on. So
yeah.
I think the point is still
Yeah.
Still true.
Ooh, somebody
totally valid.
mentioned that there was widespread talk in the first church that John was just not going to die until Jesus came back.
Mhm.
Was that one of you guys?
Isn't that the next verse?
Yeah.
No, we're there.
23. The one that's outside of
Oh,
this text. That's
that's
what it was.
right.
I mentioned it. I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
wasn't it? And I'm like
That's
trying to pull
right.
from some, like, deep, like, church history tradition. I'm like, oh man, I remember, you know, in some deep moment of study that probably none of you have gone into, that, like, there was some kind of rumor going around. And I think Stephanie's like, yeah, it's verse 23.
Verse 23. That's right.
The verse right after. And I had to say, that's the danger of copying and pasting the text into a Word document without the surrounding verses.
Now I remember. Hey, cut that too.
Nope.
Because 23 says, so the saying spread abroad among the brothers that this disciple was not to die. Yet Jesus did not say to him that he was not to die, but if it is my will that he remain until I come, what is that to you?
Yeah.
So John's just, like, setting the record straight. He's like, hey, guys, Jesus didn't promise that I was, like, not going to die and that he was going to come back before I returned. What he said was that it's none of your business.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
Yes,
This
I do
is
think-
this is contextual.
Yes, I think John thought he was not going to die until Jesus came back.
So verse 24, where it says, this is the disciple who is bearing witness about these things and who has written these things, and we know that his testimony is true. Is he's saying he is the one that whom Jesus loved.
Mhm.
Okay. That's how I read it. And I'm, like, wanting to double check to make sure, like, hey, so at this point he is saying, hey, I'm that guy.
Just in
that is-
case you were wondering who Jesus loved most. It's the
me.
one who's writing this.
Right.
Yeah, as in the case of pretty much all the gospels, like, people have tried to refute that it was John, but that is, like, throughout church history, it's been John.
Okay.
You think he thought he was going to die?
I think most of the disciples thought that Jesus was literal whenever he was saying this generation's not going to pass away. So I think most of them expected that at least one of them was going to be alive whenever he came back.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. For John, it seems reasonable. But what Jesus actually meant when he said this generation is not going to pass away, he's actually referring to the church age,
Mhm.
that his followers were not going to pass away,
That's good.
that the movement was not going to die out.
And it clearly has not. And it's
Because
just
we're talking
kept,
about it.
and it's just kept getting bigger.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Yep.
saying.
It is getting bigger.
Yep.
So we don't think John thought he was going to be like the guy in Last Crusade guarding the Grail.
What?
He'd just been
You've
there.
chosen poorly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
Not
don't.
that guy.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Not that guy. Indiana Jones, Stephanie.
I got that. Nope. Good job, guys.
Henry Jones Jr.
Okay.
Indy.
Anything else?
They named the dog Indiana.
Nope. Anything else?
I'm excited to hear that no matter how far we go after we blow it, that Jesus is still right there. Not that he's going to reach out and get us, but he's going to come to right where we are.
Mm-hmm.
He's on his way. That he restores, redeems in from our darkest and
Mhm.
deepest.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I love that. Yeah. I think just Jesus, here we get to really see how he interacts with them in their failure and denial. And it's beautiful.
Mm.
That's it for me.
Yeah, I would agree with what you guys said. I think it's amazing how we worship a God who cares so much to not just leave us where we're at.
Mm. I'm excited for one day when one of us disagrees vehemently with what the other two are excited to hear.
That would be fun.
That's going to be a fun one.
Maybe
if-
next week, come with something heretical.
Ooh, you got it. If you'd like to also come with something heretical, email us, guys. warehouse@cornerstone.team. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time. Until then, the warehouse is closed.
Peace.
Peace.